So the 2018 draft wrapped up a couple days ago, and the Portland Trail Blazers made a trade. But it wasn't necessarily the trade that we were all hoping for, where we landed LeBron James. All things serious, I know a lot of fans wanted to find an Otto Porter level starting small forward via trade on draft night, but obviously that wasn't going to happen because not one single NBA player got traded on draft night. The only thing being traded was players that had just been drafted and picks. I've never seen that happen before in my lifetime as an NBA fan, so you know what? There probably wasn't options. Who knows in the future? I do expect them to make a decent level trade sometime in the next couple of weeks. But they did manage to trade for a wing. Essentially, Portland traded 2 future second-round picks for the 37th pick in the draft, which was Sacramento's, and that was for Gary Trent Jr. Of course, people older than I am probably remember his dad, Gary Trent. I'm too young. That dude was before my time, but it is pretty cool to have a son of a former Blazer player. All right, so it's time to be honest. When I first saw that Portland had ended up trading 2 future picks for Gary Trent, I absolutely hated it. I rated it an F, and that was because Gary Trent, number 1, he struggles on defense. Number 2, he had a 8'2" standing reach, which is smaller than Anthony Simons, barely bigger than CJ McCollum's. So it's like we just drafted a combo guard. Now we drafted a guy that, in my opinion, doesn't have the ball skills to play point guard and isn't big enough to play small forward. Why would we do that? And all he can do is shoot. He can't play defense either. Just made no sense to me, especially the giving up 2 future second round picks part. Because there are picks like right around there that were only being traded for 1 future second. So do we really have to give up 2 future seconds as well as cash? But I have something interesting that I haven't read anywhere else. I think Gary Trent's standing reach has an error. I think it's wrong by like 3 or 4 inches. A year ago, Gary Trent had his standing reach measured in as 8'4". So basically the NBA Combine was wrong, or that measurement was wrong, because his standing reach definitely did not shrink. He also measured in as 6'5" even, with a 6'8" wingspan even. At the Combine, both grew by 3/4 of an inch, so you'd expect his standing reach to grow as well. So okay, maybe the 8'4" standing reach was an error. But I also did some math with past prospects and some stats. In terms of height to standing reach ratio, Gary Trent's Combine measurement was in the bottom 1%, and that doesn't take into account wingspan. So basically, to try and explain it better, his standing reach is insanely short for his height. And he has a decent wingspan too. So that ratio doesn't account for wingspan. So the bottom 1% is filled up with guys that have wingspans the same size as their height, or maybe even shorter than their height. Yet Gary Trent has a 6'9" wingspan and he's almost 6'6". That makes absolutely no sense to me whatsoever, combined with his previous measurement, and I think that there was an error at the Combine. Some guys do this. Pat Connaughton did it. Pat Connaughton was 6'5" and had like an 8-foot standing reach. I'm barely 6'5" and I have like an 8'4" standing reach and my wingspan's barely taller than my height. It made no sense for Pat Connaughton, and his vertical jump measured in at 44 inches. I'm sorry, but Pat Connaughton does not have a 44-inch vertical jump. He does not have the best vertical leap in the entire NBA. But you can kind of make your vertical jump numbers look a little bit better by registering a lower standing reach. So I honestly think that Gary Trent might have did something when he was reaching up, maybe kept his shoulder in its socket, maybe didn't like twist it all, tried to get his standing reach as low as possible so his vertical jump would look as high as possible. And he registered a 39.5-inch vertical leap. From watching this guy, he does not have a 39.5-inch vertical leap. So what does all this rambling have to do with him as a player and him as a prospect? Well, after I did all this digging and came to the conclusion that his standing reach is 8'5", maybe even 8'6", I like the pick a lot better because I think he's more suitable to play at small forward. Of course, Portland needs a small forward, so he would fill a need that he didn't otherwise fill if his standing reach was lower and he could only play shooting guard. And then defensively, he's not the quickest laterally, but he is very strong, which is better suited to guard small forwards than shooting guards anyway. And his ball skills for a small forward are better compared to that position than they are compared to shooting guards. So basically, my opinion on this pick is all based on standing reach. If it's actually 8'2", then I hate this pick because Gary Trent is not suited to be only a shooting guard, and Portland does not really have a fit for somebody that can only play that position. But since I believe it's 8'5" or 8'6", I actually kind of like this pick as a guy that can shoot and play small forward, because we definitely need somebody there. Of course, Evan Turner has been playing that position a lot, and he doesn't mesh at all with our backcourt. Gary Trent would be the exact opposite, as a guy that can spot up and shoot. If he's a small forward, then basically we just drafted probably a better version of Allen Crabbe, because Gary Trent is a lights out shooter, and he could probably do a little bit more than Allen Crabbe, because all Allen Crabbe could do was catch and shoot. Gary Trent, while although not being super quick, he does have a little bit of craftiness to him and a little bit of wiggle to his game, and does kind of know how to use his body. It's going to be different at the NBA level, where he can't quite bully people as much driving into the lane, but he does have some touch inside, and he can do a little bit more off the dribble, and hopefully he can be a better defender, because Allen Crabbe gave no effort on that end. And just with his shooting alone, you probably have a guy that can play from day one. I mean, we were playing Pat Connaughton last year, who started off decent shooting the ball, but over the last 3 months was probably shooting under 30% from three-point land. Now replace him with a rookie that's shooting probably over 40%, because Gary Trent is that good of a shooter. That would make a huge difference for opening up the court for Yusuf Nurkic post-ups, for Lillard and Nurkic pick and rolls, for McCollum isolations, and just would probably get the ball moving a little bit better too, just because the defense would be a little bit more stretched out and scrambling, and there would be more lanes to attack the rim and then kick out. Spacing is vital in today's NBA, and I really think Gary Trent can help with that. And if he can somehow at least develop into a decent defender, then this will be a steal at the 37th pick. Anyway, let me know what you think of this Gary Trent pick, and especially let me know what you think of his standing reach. Am I right? Is it bigger than it was listed as a combine measurement? Or did the combine get it right and I'm just searching for something to make me feel better about this pick? Because that standing reach definitely will affect whether he's only able to play shooting guard or if he's able to play both wing positions. Make sure you check out my Anthony Simons 24th overall pick breakdown if you haven't already done so. And make sure you subscribe to True Blazer Fan. And that's all I got for now. This has been Tori. Have a great day. Go Blazers.